Yeah, so the first thing I started with here is obviously left-hand side, you can't go left, so you go right. And then the first thing I do right after that is convince you to learn how to jump so you could collect the thinky shiny things. And then you're forced to jump if you want to exit this next area. Then we get introduced to the first type of enemy, which was defeated right away there. And you introduce them by one, and then you give a mini challenge before you go on to a big challenge. So this is the mini challenge now. And if you're very skilled, you could actually somehow avoid getting damaged. Doesn't always happen. I can't do it. Here's the big challenge in turn. There's a lot of health scattered around, so that way you're not afraid of frickin' dying, because I know I get afraid of that. I am a very wimpy gamer. But also, we have bins around so that later on you could open up your menu and use those when you're low on health. So you slowly collect those throughout the level. Don't go to the checkpoint. Oh, you fucking accidentally started over.
Okay, I can pass it.
Yeah, so now that we're pretty much back at where we're at, after the mini level, the mini challenge, I give you a checkpoint. That way, I could start introducing a new challenge. So right there, if you didn't notice already, these are new enemies, which act very similar to the old ones. So you kind of know what you're doing, and they're just introduced in a very easy to attack way. Here I introduce the new enemy with the old enemy, and this time their movement ability is emphasized, because you can't get to them right away to kill them. And then, if you go back real quick, if you see here, we have a little door that tells you that there's something beneath, but you can't go through it yet, so you just continue to the right, which I'm preconditioning you to do, because this is going to happen several times. And then, right away, I introduce you to another new enemy. I tried to convince you not to get too close, because one of the older enemies that shoots you when you get close is right there. So that you learn to shoot from further away on that one. And then you have the key for the door in the back. And you grab that, you go to the door, and then you drop right down, and you're reintroduced to the minor enemy again. And he's kind of annoying, but that's partially the point. Kind of just throwing you into it. So you learn, you could either defeat him or you could just skimp right through and go away. But if you just wuss out and go around him, you don't get that little health bonus. In this part, introducing all three of the enemies at once, this is the challenge part once again. And if you go left and you notice that there's something at first to the left, and then you also notice my little oil theme that's going on. You get a couple more goodies in that little cubby there. And if you just continue over to the right, you just continue on your way throughout the rest of the map. Once again, check mark to mark your progress. And here we also start to introduce spike balls, which I use more as a detour later on. And you could just skip around most of the guys at this point, which I think is perfectly fine, and it's there for you to have a challenge and get more experience with the enemies as you continue. We started to introduce these purple blob things, which are very nice because they don't actually do damage to you, but they make it really hard for you to move. And that in conjunction with the spike balls is really annoying because you just die a lot. Here, once again, another checkpoint because we start to introduce something new. We are now introducing the flamethrower rods. I tried to keep the first one a little further out so you could see it before you just run right into it, but if you're going too fast, you're definitely going to run right into it. We already get to the challenge part right away where you have to time your jumps. And this specific one is kind of hard. Or these specific bits are kind of hard. And in further iterations, I will change the timings because it is very difficult to get these jumps right. But at the same time, you get health at the end anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. And so these little guys at the end here, if you're smart enough and notice that they perk up when you get nearby, you could kill them without them even getting to you, but it takes a little more skill. I guess that's your speedrun strat. Here we also start to introduce horizontal flamethrower things, which can get very tedious if you're not careful. In the second part we're testing you once again, and as you can see, it starts to get more intense as you go on. I personally think this is one of the hardest parts. But it's a decent test of skill. And this part you actually have to double back on, which makes it super annoying, but at the same time, you feel accomplished as soon as you finish it. So here you're just navigating through a bunch of flamethrowers, and the purple goo guys are here to help make it more difficult, just because of the fact that they change your movement. And as you can see as well, you could also stun lock your way through most of these sections, which I think has more to say about the original design of Mega Man than it does about the level, but I guess it's also my fault. Oh my god. Stress. And yeah, here we're taking another health back, because why not? I think it's energy, like electricity, because Mega Man's all about robots. Next we go on, it's another little area with flamethrower rods to go straight up, and just the purple goo guys once again. And this area, you actually start to learn how to dash through the flamethrowers if you mash the buttons enough. And then here we have a little bit more of a challenge area where you're fighting against another miner, and they'll throw stuff at you while a flamethrower blocks your way of hitting him. And then there's another key at the top that you have to grab to open the door on the right. And once you go through the door on the right, we get introduced to another new thing. It's not that safe here, but it allows you to experiment with it a little bit. It's just a shooter, and we have our primary station here, because from here, if you notice straight down, you see 3 doors, and you've already had experience with doors that you need keys for. And then there's different ways you can go, which of course lead to you being able to grab the keys. In this case, we're going to go up first. It doesn't really matter which way you go, they all use more or less the same assets in just different ways. At this point, you should be decently experienced, except for with these 5P shooters. These are the newest bits, and it's the only thing you have to master. If you take the first route first, it gives you the most experience with them, so that you learn, hey, I could shoot these and end them, so they stop shooting me. It takes a lot of spamming to get through it, but doing so makes it much easier. And because of the way that these are designed, enemies respawn when you get back, makes use of level space with two-purpose design. No, you don't have to redesign the entire, or you don't have to design the entire backwards way. So, as you come through, the key gets deposited into the door, 1 door unlocks. Now you have 2 different ways to go here, doesn't really matter which way you go. This time we're going bottom first. And first thing you come across is another miner, and walking out of the frame will respawn the things. Arguably this might break immersion, and I should probably change it in a later iteration, but it forces you to just charge in with the miner and just spam and hit him. Here we just got a lot more moving little guys that shoot the peas, and on the right we actually have a little secret way, which we'll come back to. And then right here we had our key and extra goodies, which will help us in the boss battle a little later on. So on the right, if you have figured out how to slide at dash, or is it a dash? I'm not sure. You get a little goodie room and you get a little extra stuff, including full health and a couple of health bar things. Health canisters? I don't know the Mega Man terminology. But at the cost of the next room having all your enemies respawned. So, it's up to you there. So then, once again, you have to go all the way back through here to deposit your key back into the door. And in each of these sections, I try to make sure there's a checkpoint at the start, so that if something happens, you always every time you go through, you don't want your progress to be destroyed. So checkpoint per area, because it's no longer a linear progression. And in this case, we're using the miner to guard the ladder, and we take the ladder up to the top area. And we see that there's more stuff up here, so we'll try to take it out. It starts to get a little busy up here, but at this point you should be used to all these different types of enemies. Nice. So we come through, and now we have to work our way down while avoiding both enemies.
What? What? I got stuck there, so I was wondering if I could fall through, I guess.
Yeah, I am not fully aware of the mechanics of Mega Man himself. I did not know what would happen if you did that, but touching spikes is an instant death, and that's kind of why I put a single spike there, so you try not to go that direction. Which obviously didn't work in this situation, because it was a one block high gap, and that suggests that you could just dash right under. Yeah. The purple goo once again helps mess up the players, so I enjoy that. It's fun to watch and annoying to play, but also at the same time fun to play. At least that's my assumption. Yes, it is fun to get past it. I try not to overuse it too much, though it's pretty fun to use them. So now we have 2 keys in our inventory, and those are the last 2 keys for the doors. In both these situations, or in both of those lines, you could always have come back and refilled your health and energy. So just walking over the doors, we fall straight down, and we end up in the preloading area. We change the background to signify something's happening, and use the classic "look, those are boss doors" trope. So we walk through, you get the long hallway you always get. You can't go back, sorry. And then boss comes down. And I know nothing about Mega Man bosses. Personally, I feel like this guy's kinda hard, but I also gave you a health pack, so you should be fine. I went with an open room for the boss room, mainly because I don't know if the boss would interact with the level as I would anticipate. That, and it's just much easier for the player to navigate around having a flat room. You look like you're a pro at Mega Man right now, I'm just gonna say.
You see me earlier?
I saw you earlier, you used a health pack earlier. Isn't this like your second time playing Mega Man? So, defeat the boss, get your classic, haha, I am the Mega Man, thing. And then you bing off, and that's it.
Awesome.
And that is the level I designed. That's about it. Thanks for watching.